Hey guys, today we're going to be making a windmill, and we're going to be doing it using stuff you can find all around your house, or you can go buy supplies for it someplace like Walmart. It's pretty inexpensive, should be under like 10-15 bucks. So things you're going to need: supplies, right? Paper, you can use construction paper or regular paper, right? Printer paper. Scissors, make sure that they're safety scissors. Straw, any type of regular old straw is fine. Just make sure it's not, too fat or one of those like funny shaped ones. Tape, regular tape. Cups, recommend using some of these styrofoam cups. Pretty easy to like stack if you want, or just use them individually. String or thread, you got like a little sewing kit right here with like a bunch of threads that you can use, or if you want to use kind of like more of like a yarn type thing, that would be good as well. A bigger straw, just slightly bigger, so then you can fit this inside the other one. For instance, we got this example here. This goes in here pretty well. There's not too much space in between. Pennies, because we're going to be using those at the end when we're actually having to harness the energy from our windmill. And then a clip, just kind of wrap things all together, keep things contained. Okay, so this is step one. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make the square, which we're going to use in order to create like our actual like windmill rudder scenarios. So basically I'm going to grab a regular piece of construction paper. And what I'm going to do is that to make the square, you can go through and you can use a ruler, and then you can just kind of pick what size you want arbitrarily. But I would say a good idea is to just grab the top edge of the paper, fold it onto the other side until you see that it's on the edge. And there's two things: make sure that that's on the edge, and also the entire side of this that you folded over is parallel with the other side of the paper. Then from there on out, once those two things are true, you're going to go ahead and you want to make sure that you press down on this corner. And this is going to be the triangle, which is going to be half of your square when you open it up. So now we're going to want to fold this rectangle piece over and just go back and forth with the rectangle piece, because this is going to be all the excess. But while we cut it, we want to make sure that we get a nice clean cut in order to make this better and to make everything more aerodynamic. Then I'm going to go ahead, make sure you're using safety scissors. Make nice clean lines. I need to rush through it. All right. So boom, voila. We got the basic outside standard for our squares. And then also the second thing, in order to get ahead for the next step, is you're gonna want to do that same thing you did before, except now you're just gonna fold one corner of the square to the other. You're gonna want to make sure that they're parallel again, as so. Let's go ahead and let's do that. And then at the end, fold on both sides just to make those indents a little bit more accented. And this is what you guys should have: a square with two diagonals, which meet at one midpoint in the center. And this is going to be the basic outline for the next step. All right, so the next step is that we're going to make the holes, and we're actually going to start getting this little apparatus set up. So what you're going to want to do is you can grab a pen, pencil, whatever you got hanging around to make marks. And you kind of want to put like a little bit mark in the middle of the paper. And then we're going to make a couple more marks. So if you guys see, we've got these triangles which are outlined when we created those diagonal folds. So what we're going to do now is let's pretend that this one triangle is the one triangle we're focusing on, right? So we're focusing on this one triangle. So now you can just pick this side or this side. I'm going to pick the right side. I'm going to go close to the bottom right corner, and I'm going to make another little circle as such. And then I'm going to go around to the other side, and I'm just going to do the same thing. So I have that 4 times. So that's the next step there. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to kind of cut on these diagonals all the way from the outside edges until about 1 inch is left till you get to the midpoint. Let's see. All right. Just go through every time and check if the new cut that you made is about the same size as the other cut that you just made right before it, just to keep things consistent. Alright, so we should have been finished cutting back then. They are pretty much the same size cuts all around. And then from here on out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same pen, pencil, whatever you guys had before, or anything safe, you know, not sharp, to go in ahead and make these little holes. And you want to make them not too big. You want to make them smaller than your straw at first, not too much smaller. So, go through. Make all these little holes. Try not to use scissors, but if you do, just ask someone like an adult to help you out if they're not safety scissors. Get these little cuts made. Alright. Boom. So we got the basic little outline made. And so basically what we're going to want to do is have like interference fits inside. And what this means is that this is going to go in, but you're going to have to push a little bit. You don't want to cut in too much, or else it's going to be too loose and just going to slide in and out. But at the same time, you don't want to make it too tight to where you try to puncture it and then it's not a hole anymore. It's more like a diagonal line. So I made like a little cut. I can go in, adjust a little bit more as I see fit. And I kind of got a great fit here. Yes, perfect. Right? And then now I'm going to go through and I'm going to want to get that on all these other sides. So I have to go adjust a little bit. So not enough. A little bigger. And boom, that's perfect. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do that to every single side. Where you have the hole, you're going to want to make it a little bit bigger so it's enough to go over and enter on this side. Alright, so the finished product should look something like this. You've got every corner down. You kind of got like these little flanges hanging out the corner. We got it all in there. If you want, you can try to just unite these, the back side and the front side, and just maybe loosen up a little bit. So we see, sure, moves around. Some maybe needs to loosen up a little bit more. But it's pretty good for what we've got. That's a little better. All right. So what you're going to want to do is grab a little bit of tape and you just want to secure everything around a little bit more. So let me show you where I mean. Always in the back. We're going to want to just make sure that everything's stuck together. And I'm going to put that kind of near the bottom side of all these cuts, just to make sure that it all rotates as one unit. So just grab a tiny little piece, put a little bit of it down, And 2 pieces should be enough for that. And then we're gonna grab another little piece. I'd say we put this part now on the top. Try to not cover up too much of it if you can. But just grab these little areas where a couple of them intersect and just help pat them down a little bit tighter so it all moves as one system. Okay, so then now pretty much we should have it pretty close to like shut down with tape on this side and just connect it a little bit more on this side. So if you see how it rotates, pretty swift, right? So now I'm confident with that there. And then now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna have to go on and get a big stack of cups, right? And what I did is that I kind of want to keep the height like at a pretty decent level. So I made it like about this tall and then added some tape on the sides. One out, I'm gonna add a little bit more and connect these two as well. Just connect all of these. You can just use like a larger cup if you guys would like. But we chose to just go get like a pack of cups. So this is what you could do with that option. You could just tie it down right here. I'm gonna put this one over here. And now they're now rotating, and it's important that you do this. So tie them so they don't rotate, they don't do anything. It's just like a larger stack of cups, right? It's like a long cylinder. So we got that now. We've got like our rotating part of the windmill. So what you're gonna want to do is, okay. So now pretty much you've got this part done. Rotates pretty good, if I do say so myself. If you went in and you just got a stack of cups, we're just gonna tape all the sides together to avoid any rotation. So we just got that going on now. You see that? Oh, that one wasn't tied, but all these other ones were taped together. Just put a little tape around the side, boom, boom. So you got like our large stack of cups now. And we got like a rubber straw, and we cut a portion of it about the size of the top here. So what we're gonna wanna do now is with that, we're gonna wanna tie this down. Just like that. So now we've got that stuck down onto there. And if we look and see, this goes in here. And this is basically where we're gonna house this. Right. So if you want, again, if it looks a little bit too wide, we can kind of make this a little smaller. And if you even want, you can even use some double-sided tape or flip the tip inside out, and then you can connect that on the inside to make it a little tighter. But we're good right now with this. Let's put a little bit more tape in to tie this down. Okay, and our apparatus is set up on that end. All right, so now what we've done is we have a finished example of what we want this next step to look like. And then we've got this was what you start out with, right? So basically what we're gonna wanna do is, if you guys see here, we got 2 holes on this, right? We got a hole right in the middle. And then if you rotate that, it's directly across on the other side, right? You're gonna wanna grab that. Watch out if you're using scissors. Pick basically one point. Go through. Let's make that. And then just kind of eyeballing it. Go through on the other side. Make similar size hole. Pretty good. Make sure you get rid of that little styrofoam. You're gonna go on to grab your thread, your string, whatever it is that you're using. Let's see, which one do I want to use? All right, you gotta get them on a string here. What you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to pull this through. So pull the string through one end, through the other end. All right, and we got this here. And if you see, what we did here is that we tied one knot here and another knot here. And then it's connected to the same string. So you're just gonna wanna grab one side, put it through. Let's see, and it might be a little tricky depending on how thin your string is or how big the hole is, but don't lose patience. All right, and we got that there. And just tie a knot on that side. I'm not gonna do it all over again because I already did it once. Bring this through here. Just do the other side. And then we'll see what we get. We'll see that we get a string through the middle. And if you tie these around with the little excess string that you have on the side, you'll have it connected to the cup, and then we'll have like a little grabbing area for the bucket, a little handle, just like we have over here. And then with that handle, just grab another piece of string, right? And just put it through, right? And then now you're gonna be able to connect it to one piece of string like this. And we can have our little bucket. All right, so now let's say that you got your bucket made. And look at this, let's show you guys. So we got tied, once again, here knotted, here knotted. We got one thing going through. So this is one piece of string. And then another one which goes through and grabs it, right? And this is what we're functioning with. And basically we've got the two halves of our apparatus are already complete. What we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna grab this, put this on here, and it takes a little bit of time to get it right. But you want the string, while it's resting on the table at rest, to go around. And then we're gonna tape that down. Because we just want just enough string as to where it rests on the table by itself, but then we can lift it up. So I'm gonna go ahead, actually probably a good idea to get your tape ready beforehand. Then go ahead, do this, and this is a lot easier if someone else is helping you. So you can go through, do it like this, and I think about there is good. All right, so we've gone through, taped that, and now you should see that if we rotate this, our cup, even though, you know, it's a little flimsy right now, boom, is going up. So then it looks like this though is gonna have some difficulties with the rudders hitting the side. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna tighten the inside using double-sided tape, not even double-sided. I'm gonna make it double-sided. And I grab a piece like that, and then I'm gonna connect it on the inside. And then I'm gonna go through, yep. And that should make our life a lot easier. It should be one of the final steps. Once we get this rocking and rolling, it should just be the demonstration. So we got this going on. And it seems like you want to get it for all four sides because they're all going to be sticking out kind of far. So go through, put that double-sided tape in, connect it a little bit. And then, whoops. Move this back over here. All right. So now let's try that. Once again, you can keep making tiny small edits to it in order to just try to get it right, because it's not going to be picture perfect right at first. Some of it's going to be at an angle, it's going to be hitting things, but as you see these issues come up, we've got to engineer our way around these problems. So we've got that going on. Now it's, I guess, the time for the moment of truth. So basically the whole reason that we're doing this is to demonstrate how we can harness wind, the power of wind, to use it as energy, right? To create power, to do work. So what we're going to want to do now is we're going to want to see, one, we already saw how this cup has a weight, right? And so then it takes energy for you to lift this cup all the way to this location. So by me just blowing, I'm already creating the energy needed to move that up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can add a little bit more weight. So we're using these pennies and how much it's going to balance using how much energy I'm putting in. So basically how many pennies can we get to move up with the cup. So I'm just going to throw one in there. Make sure my system's set up. And we're going to boom. So it worked. And then we're going to unravel that. So we know we can make it work with one. We're going to go trial 2. So let's go ahead. And it looks like that's it. So we got 1.5 pennies about, because we got it about halfway. And then we've got the cup as well. So how much is that, right? So we can go online and we can see whatever the weight of a standard penny is, because they should have a specific weight, given the fact that we already know how much volume is in a typical penny and everything like that. That's something we can find. And then we can just weigh this as well. We can grab one of the cups and we can weigh that on the side. So then we can say confidently that using this little wind harnessing device, this little windmill, that if I blow at a certain speed, I can lift it up, let's say, I don't know, like 10 grams or something like that. And basically, this is just a small scale representation of what we can do in real life